Oh my God. Life is easy. Life is easy. Life is easy. If you do things the right way, let me hear you say, life is easy. Oh, easy. Life is easy.
Focus. Yeah. Somebody say, oh my God. Oh, so how do we do this? Oh. Anyways, I've had this idea for a while. Focus on my face. I've had this idea for a while, and I'm kind of like a perfectionist, and it affects me in a lot of ways because it gives me delays, or sometimes makes me procrastinate and everything, you know. So I'm just like, you know what? I'll just do this. Let's try this way. Let's see how it works. You see, I'm recording audio with my phone, despite all the equipment I have, because setting up and all that, you know. Anyways, I don't even have a name for what I'm going to be calling it, but I'm going to be talking about issues that I feel is affecting particularly today's generation. Maybe do they call them Gen Z or something, you know. I don't have a name for the show yet, so maybe I call it What's This Show? Or anyways, today I want to talk about failure. Yes, failure. What is failure, you know? And I chose to talk about this topic because from a few or most of the Gen Z people I've met, in fact, all of the Gen Z people I've met, they don't like to fail. Let me put it that way. And yeah, it's good. Nobody should like to fail. But there's this pressure on today's generation, especially because of the perception of things we see on social media. You know, like everything on social media is glitz and glamour. And if you're not careful, it just makes you feel like you're playing with your life, you know, because it's all, you know. And so today's generation, there's this pressure of you just have to get it right. And when you fail, you just take it so hard on yourself, you know. So, and I feel like everybody, you know, everybody you look up to, everybody we look up to has a failure story or the other, you know. It's just a case of perception and paradigms, you know. Because failure, or let me share my story first before I now tell you what I mean by the perception and paradigm. So let me give you one of my failure stories. Because according to what systemed failure, I think I have a couple of failure stories, but let me give you one main one. So I don't think I've shared this before, so I went to Covenant University. I studied electrical and electronics engineering. I was very good in secondary school, Jazz Club president and all that, you know. So although at that point I already knew I had a passion for music. Music was the main passion, and I was looking for, you know, where I could do music and everything. But family said, come on, don't waste all this, go for engineering. You know, and I went to Covenant University 2005, and yeah, it was good, especially in 100 level, because most of the things I encountered in 100 level / 200 level, especially like, say, mathematics, we had been taught in secondary school, because my secondary school, they just over-taught us stuff and everything. So I realized that I didn't really need to read. I could even get away. I didn't really need to go to classes, because most of those things I would still get them right and everything. So I started focusing on other things. So instead of going to class, you know, I found this software that I was just finding my way around. I'll get back to that later. But what did this do to me? So there was this mathematics. I think 100 level, I still did pretty well, although I would have done way better if I read. But I think I had like a 2-1 in 100 level, 4 point something. First semester 100 level, I'm like, oh, cool. So I think the problem, is it second semester or third? Second semester. Was it 100 level or 200? Okay, so 100 level, yeah, 100 level, I managed to go through 100 level, although my results was dropping gradually, yeah, but I think at the end of 100 level, I was still on like a low 2-1, you know. Then 200 level, I had already gotten, so this was becoming like a lifestyle for me. And this was, okay, so the software I was, no, I don't want to get there. I need to set up this story very well. So this was kind of becoming a lifestyle for me, in the sense that not really going to class, because eventually, at least, I will still get what they are doing there. So 200 level, things were getting harder. You get, but I could still find my way through, especially with mathematics. My shout out to my further maths teacher. I'm so sorry, I can't remember your name again, but they really took me far. So maths class, I used to not go for maths class. Although in 100 level, I still went to a couple of classes, so I didn't know that what was going to affect me in 200 level was going to affect me, and they did not even really hold it that much. Anyways, long story short, 200 level, same thing. When exam time came, I went to the exam hall for mathematics. Geez, GEC 210. I can't remember what it was called again. The engineering side don't come out. And I saw the questions and I was so happy. You know, we're supposed to answer like maybe 3 questions out of 5 or something. And they gave us like, was it 3 hours or something? And under like 1 hour, I was already like done with like, I was finishing with the second one, going to number 3 because I was so happy, you know, that I would scale through this, you know. That's how they just came to the hall with a list. I should have heard that my name was on the list, and by the time I stood up, I saw that was the list of attendance defaulters. So apparently, there's a rule, which I heard of, I didn't really take it seriously. There's a rule that if you didn't go to class for up to 70% for attendance, you will not be able to write the exams. Long story short, that was how I was kicked out, and my script was cancelled, and I failed that course. And that was the beginning of plenty problems. Because to now be making up going to classes, Isha brought a couple of other carryovers. Long story short, I wasn't able to graduate with my sets in 2010. Because of that problem that arose. And electrical and electronics engineering, the deeper you get into it, you know, so that 200 level, everything was crazy, you know, it was really, really crazy. I tried to manage, you know, I almost even scaled through the final year. So I think it was this math class that I was now supposed to go for in final year. I saw the timetable for them when they were going to write the exams and everything, you know. This time I really had to read. I read overnight. I will never forget. I read over. This is why it was really painful. Like, and again, because at this time, 500 level, I was already well-grounded, comedy. I used to go for shows and everything, you know. So I just used to try to read to pass. My results was already like on a 2-2, but I was just trying to scale through, you know. So I had prepared for this maths exam, and in my mind, it was going to be 10 a.m. the next day, you know. So I read overnight. I didn't sleep. I went to have my bath. And by the time it was like past 9, I started a bit 9:30 there, but I started running to the exam hall just for me to get there and see that they were coming out. Apparently, it had been moved from 10 till 8. I didn't know about it. I didn't hear about it because that's not my class. It's 200 level. I was in 500 level. And that's how I could not make up for that again. I could not graduate because of these things. My own normal courses in class, I scaled, even if it was past here and there, you know, but I could not graduate. And this was supposed to be a failure. I was going to beat myself hard. I was scared to go home because I know how my mother struggled to pay my school fees. It was so freaking crazy, you know. But thank God for the kind of mom I had, you know. I called her, I told her, she knew me. She knew the kind of person I was. So she was really worried. She was like, don't worry. Shebi's money will pay by God's grace. We'll find it. Don't stress yourself. She was just more concerned about me not hurting myself and everything. And that really, really touched me. Anyways, thank God I didn't have to do an extra year because there was summer class. So I went for summer class and I cleared the papers. And that's how I still kind of graduated with my set. I just did not go for the convocation and my NYC was delayed, you know. But looking at it from an angle, I failed. It was failure. Do you understand? Because I will never have a picture of graduation with my course mates. You know, I was never in. I just have my matriculation picture. I don't have convocation because I did not convoke. I be convocate or whatever they call it. But now look at it from another paradigm. Because sometimes failure, the way you see failure is just something that is preparing you for a bigger success. Something that is just trying to put your feet on the path that you're supposed to follow that will now give you the real success you deserve. So sometimes failure is a pathway to success. Most times, in fact, failure is a pathway. Now, I'm talking to serious-minded people. I'm not talking to, you know, there is a way you fail. You know that you know now you know serious. But even in that, you're not supposed to like beat yourself up, kill yourself. Just do better, do well. You know, be more active, and you get. But I'm talking to people that you know you really put in your all, because those are the people that it's crazy. People get suicidal. You know what it means? I was talking to a friend recently, he went to law school and everything, and he prepared, even people that he thought they passed, and he failed. He became suicidal at a point. You know, thank God, that was where I got the idea that I need to come out to like talk about this thing, you know. So, you know, you've done everything you need to do and everything, and you just did not get the results you're supposed to get. Now, I'm not talking just school. I'm talking in every areas of life. Maybe there's a particular hustle, you know, and you've put in your all and it's not just coming out. First of all, don't take out the place of God, because God is always directing our footsteps. But never, ever beat yourself up to the point that you feel like you're a failure or you're not worth it. The fact that you feel that something does not mean you're a failure. The fact that you feel that something just means that maybe you're not supposed to be doing that thing, or maybe you're supposed to do that thing better. So if you focus well and if you get what you're supposed to get from each failure you pass through, because life is about ups and downs. And down does not mean that you'll be buried or you stay there. After a down, you go up. So each failure is supposed to be a learning curve. Once you learn what you're supposed to learn from that failure, you will never feel that way again. And that in itself is a success because you already know one route you're not supposed to take. So coming back to my story. So the failure came about because of this thing I used to do in the hall. I used to play with a software. Now that software, from childhood, I love music, all musical instruments. And one major thing I loved about music was harmonies. I used to listen to a cappella music a lot. So I love the separation of harmonies. If you listen to my music, you know that like I'm a harmony guy. So in school, I had a cappella group. Most of my guys don't blow now. Chike was there, Nonso was there, AY, Skinny Girl in Transit was in my a cappella group. Shout out to Maiwa, shout out to Victor, So I had a cappella group. So before even I got the a cappella group, so I found this software and I realized that I could record my voice with this software. So I was finding ways of doing different things. I would sit with it from morning till night. And I realized how to layer my voice, record one voice after the other. I can do a cappella. I can make beats. That's how I learned production in school. Do you understand? I would not go to classes. I was just in my room. Then I failed. And I was just like, damn, I was wasting my time. Not knowing that thing, God was using that thing to lift my destiny. Fast forward, after NYC, when I got to Wazobia FM, and I was one way or the other, I got to the production department. That was the department I was working. And guess what software they were using in this production department? This same software I thought I was wasting my time with. The exact one, Adobe Audition 1.5. I can never forget. So I got to Wazobia, the supervisor was taking us around and showing us. So I was doing I didn't know about this thing, So they were showing us, this is how you do this and everything. And under 2-3 days, I was the king of it. It was like I was a whiz kid. Not knowing that this is not the thing where I know they go class for all those years. Do you understand? So it was more or less like a blessing in disguise. You feel me? I'm not telling you this that when you're in school, you should not go to class. So, do you understand? Because it would have been way better for me if I graduated with my guys and everything. But I'm just like, the fact that you failed at that thing right now does not mean you should beat yourself up. Does not mean you should end your life. Imagine if I was just like, oh, God, why? And I could have thought that way because my mother really struggled to send me to Covenant University. It's not that she could afford it, single mom with 6 children. She really, really struggled. And I used to see my mom's pains. I used to see my mom cry. And that was what came over me. I'm like, after all this woman did, and she brought me here, this is how I'm going to pay her back. And this is how these thoughts creep into your head. And you just be like, let me just end it. Imagine if God forbid, if I killed myself then and everything. See everything that God has done for me, my brand so far. God is taking me further than this, but at least you will know me. You see the small achievements where I don't get now. And everything started with that software. I was playing around with that. I was missing my class. That's how I started, because that's why I'm forever appreciative of Wazobia. I got my entertainment foundation from there because that's where I met a lot of people that I now started working with and everything. Even Wazobia, I would do production on Wazobia that year. People will be calling. The way you request for songs, they will be calling for them to play my sweepers. Sweepers were station identity elements we used to play, Wazobia. Now, naturally, before I got there, people used to do theirs. It was normally voiceovers like Wazobia FM 95.1. It was just those talks. I brought in music, and it was the station shot up, went up, they became number one and everything. Obviously, I worked alongside amazing producers too. Shout out to Tyron, shout out to Tola, Ginger, But after I finished NYC, my boss called me, that guy, you're not going anywhere, we're going to retain you. It was really just because of this software and obviously the talent God put in me. But if I didn't know how to work with this software, probably the story would have been, because at the time they put me in production department, they didn't really need anybody in production. There was some pressure and I was supposed to perform or space no go day. It was like an opportunity, And if I didn't have the prior knowledge, there's no way I could have learned everything I knew under that small time that they were saying they will teach us. And that's how I will have lost it. But see what God has done all the way from there here. Now the school where I say I fail, the shout out to Covenant too. Yeah, I'm forever proud to be to have gone to Covenant, but I've not even gone back to collect my certificate of elect. I'm coming to collect it, but I've not. Do you understand? You feel me? So imagine I beat myself up and I killed myself. Meanwhile, this is not even my path. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what you are going through right now. I don't know what you feel that, and you really feel bad. Like, yeah, failure is not. Everybody does not want to fail. People want to pass, but never let it be the end of you. Never beat yourself up because of something you feel that. See failure as an opportunity to get better. See failure as a learning curve that you will never fail at that thing again. Like, it will never happen to you again. And see failure mostly as a blessing in disguise. Do you understand? Just trust. That's why I first put God, because my life story, I always say, that's why I don't even really go for interviews, because people do not really believe me, and people just always want to bring things out of my mouth, which I don't have to say. Because when they ask me my story, I'm just like, it's God. Like, it's God that always, like, align my footstep and everything. That's why you can never put God's place out. So first of all, sort yourself out with God and make sure that you and God are in a good place. They follow and talk, they follow you talking, they lead you. With that, you are forever confident that He can never lead you astray. So even when you fail, you are just sure that all things work together for good for everybody who loves God. You understand? So even your failure, you are just confident. So again, I say this is not an excuse, opportunity for. I'm not telling you to be unserious. Yeah, you should be serious. If you're in school, read your books, do all that and everything. But the fact that you failed does not mean that you are a failure or should put an end to your life. Yeah. With these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to make sense. Don't worry, I'll get better at this. For example, now, even if you follow my YouTube channel, you will see that I failed at a lot of things. You see, I keep starting new shows, new ideas, and I will not just follow through. In fact, now I have almost 130, I'll be almost 150,000 subscribers. Sometimes this video now, when I put it up, it might not be more than 5,000 views. 150,000 subscribers to 5,000 views. Is that not a failure? But it's not a failure. Do you understand? Because the way I've grown, the way God has dealt with me, I already know that if something does not work here, it's just an opportunity for you to bring another thing. For example, the story of Fadi Friday is not the talk of today, but it's as a result of one failure of one thing that it just brought up, what's that English? It stirred up my spirit. And that was what birthed Fadi Friday, which is a huge success now. Do you understand? So, never see failure as failure. Because the way God, like, if we did right with God, the way God designed our life is that even in failure, you are winning. Do you understand? Even when it seems like you are losing, you are winning, because that is not the end. That is just the road to your destination, which is going to be successful. Yeah? So just change your mindset, change your paradigm. And I will see you next time. I have a lot of things to talk about, but I think I need to structure this show or whatever it's going to be. But I hope this is going to bless somebody today, yeah? So, yeah, somebody say, oh my God.
Life is easier if you do things the right way. Yeah.
Oh my God.